All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Kabbadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, born who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations, hopefully got the pushing the word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. All right, just want to get into some prophecy this morning. Just speak on some things. All right, as Yahweh Shai, commission us to watch, as well as pray. And I start off with a few of those precepts dealing with that. Let's go here. Because when you go into the Bible speaks of certain events that will usher in the coming of Yahweh Shai. And this is why, we look, so diligently into these things. Okay? It's like I said, we're not pro-Russia. All right? We're not pro-Iran. Okay? We're not pro this or pro that. We're pro Yahweh Shai. The kingdom that was promised to our forefathers will be ushered in through Yahweh Shai. You see, Yahweh Shai is the champion of Israel. That's our champion. All right, and he's coming, all right, to dominate the heathens in righteousness. He's coming to wage war in righteousness, and leading up to that point, he left us with certain events. All right, he because no man knoweth the hour or the time. If a brother can post that, it might be in Matthew. No man knoweth the hour or the time, but he gave us events that will be happening. All right, leading up to his second coming. Okay, so everything that we see happening that has an effect, okay, on the world stage was prophesied about. From the wars, all right, to the money situation, the financial sector, okay, to the civil unrest, to the famine, to the divisions amongst the people. Good morning. To the civil unrest, okay, to the divisions amongst the people, okay. All these things were spoken of, all right, in the scriptures, all right, for us to understand what times we're in. Because prophecy, that's the clock, all right, of the believers. That's our watch. You see? So when you go here, let's get this in Luke 21 and 28. It says, and when these things begin to come to pass, look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. So we pay attention to these things because we understand, all right, this is directly linked to our redemption. Okay? And when the scriptures speak about redemption, what is it speaking of? Okay? When we go to the word redemption, well, we're going to be redeemed from captivity and restored to rulership. Okay? This is what these prophecies are leading to, us being redeemed from captivity and being restored to rulership. Okay? The earth being restored to paradise, Yahweh Shai is coming to redeem. And these are the things, that we must understand. All right, this is why we're here. There's a lot of Israelites that know that they're Israelites, and they're just still infatuated with the world or the so-called white man. This is their joy, this world. Okay, but we're becoming more and more dead to this world and more alive in Yahweh Shai. Okay, because as this kingdom is transitioning, we're transitioning. The Lord has us in the transition, man, to where we have no cares of this world, okay, but we long for that world promise, that age, okay, the eternal righteous rulership of Israel. We long for that world to be established, okay? So we pay attention to these things, man. We know that all these things are linked, all right, to our redemption, man. You know, us being redeemed out of this situation, us even being redeemed out of these filthy bodies, man. Okay? So let's go here. Let me see. I can find it real quick. Look this one up in a while. Yep. This is Matthew 24. I started at 35. Okay. Well, I started at 34. Matthew 24:34. It said, "Verily I say unto you, this generation, all right, shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled." And this is that generation, because those spirits that was back during Yahweh first coming, when he was teaching, all those spirits are back. You know, those that believed on him and followed him, they're back to receive their reward. You know, we got to drink of that cup of affliction, you know, as Yahweh said, we will surely drink of that cup, but it's leading to a reward. All right. And those same spirits that didn't believe, that rejected them and gave them up, you know, to the Roman government and said, let his blood be on our kids, be on us and our children. That generation is back. And that's going to be fulfilled in this generation. Okay? And that's why we're not in time of having pity on niggas, man. Okay? To be trying to sympathize with our people that refuse to hearken unto this word. Okay? Because everybody is back to fulfill their lot. Okay? And that blood of Yahweh still hasn't been avenged. Dealing with those Romans and with Jake. You know? And Yahweh said that told Pilate, all right, matter of fact, we'll get it, you know, and we'll go back to that Matthew. This is St. John. You know, because that's part of prophecy too. The judgment upon the unbeliever, the judgment upon the 2/3, you know, and they requested that blood of the guilt of the murder of Yahweh be on them and their children. And that's going to be fulfilled through Ezekiel 9:4. Slay ugly, old, young, maids, okay, children. Okay. This is St. John 19 and and 10. It said, "Then saith Pilate unto him," and he's speaking to Yahweh, "Speakest thou not unto me? Knowest thou not I have the power to crucify thee and have the power to release thee?" So he condemned himself then. You know, because no matter what Jake was saying or what Jake wanted, all right, Pilate, you know, could have overturned it, but it had to be fulfilled. You know, Yahweh had to be that sacrifice. Okay, so hey, that's why Yahweh wasn't even responding to Pilate, because he knew, all right, that hey, he had to go through with it. You know, he wasn't trying to justify himself. Okay, he spoke little. He said a few things, and what he did said, you know, it was heavy. All right, verse 11. Yahweh answered, "Thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it was given thee from above. Therefore, he that delivered me unto thee have the greatest sin." Okay? He that delivered me unto thee have the greatest sin. And he's speaking about Jake. So a lot of prophecy at the end time, all right, is built around the judgment of Israelites, man. That's why you have a time period of prophecy called Jacob's trouble. Okay? As Elder Apostle Har deemed this the year, all right, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. Okay? And we still, you know, we at halfway through the year. All right? We still got another 6 months and some change, and a lot can happen. Okay? But we have to understand that this is all prophecy. This is all prophetic, you know, what we're witnessing and what we're seeing happening in the earth. Okay, real time. All right, so let's go back to Matthew 24. All right, and I start at verse Matthew 24 and 35. It says, heaven and earth. Well, I start 34 again. It said, verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away. And the heaven and earth that's going to pass away is speaking of heaven. All right. This current rulership. Esau's in his heaven. Okay. This freaky, perverted, anti-Messiah age is his paradise because he's the wicked. You know, he loves to see people confused, and you know, he loves to see people destroy themselves. He loves war. Okay, this is his heaven. Okay, he's being worshipped. You know, he has all this influence. People look to him as a god. This is his heaven. This is his rulership. Okay, the rich man. Okay, from the parable. Okay, he fares sumptuously every day. He has the resources. All the wealth trickles to him. Everyone is pretty much a slave to him in this society. He's in his heaven. But this is passing away. Okay? And if you're in love with this world, you're in love with something that's passing away. That Yahweh Bashim Al Shah is about to erase this rulership out of the earth. Okay? And we're going to prove it. All right? It says, but my words shall not pass away, which is this prophecy. Okay? Prophecy is going to stand. And within prophecy, Esau's rulership is erased. And he's going into captivity, and eventually he's going to be done away with. And that's all within this word. An everlasting kingdom is within this word. An everlasting kingdom for Israel. Us being changed to immortals, that's in this word. You see? So all Esau's intentions and agendas and plans for this and plans for that, that's going to pass away. All right? The current condition of the earth, that's going to pass away. Okay? The earth is going to be rejuvenated at the return of Yahweh Shai. Okay? Via prophecy, man. All right? And let's prove that this man's rulership is going to be erased. Okay? Isaiah 65 and 17. And see, it proves that Yahweh Shai was teaching out of the Old Testament, man. Okay? You dumbass Christians, you know, you make it seem as if the New Testament and the Old Testament, like, they cancel each other out, you know, or like they conflict. Nah, man. All right. the New Testament has an Old Testament theme. Okay, it's just in the setting of after our people have been Hellenized, man. This is Isaiah 65 and 17 says, for behold, I create new heavens and a new earth. Okay, new rulership. You know, and we're fighting to be part of their rulership, man. Okay, this place is done. Okay, this place is finished, man. Pretty much we do what we got to do, you know, to get our daily needs, man, and and after that, man, our energy is going into this, man. Our time is going into this. Okay, ushering in a eternal righteous kingdom. You know, so this is what prophecy is going to do. It's going to usher in a new heaven and a new earth, a new rulership and a refreshed earth. Okay, paradise. You see, it says, behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered nor come into mind. Okay, showing you the type of level we're going to be on in the kingdom, man. We're going to be on such, all right, a high frequency. Okay, that this rulership, this current rulership is not even going to come into mind. Okay, this current rulership is not even going to be a thought. Okay, this wicked, you know, low nature, perverted, you know, watered down rulership, it's not even going to come into our minds. Okay, we're going to, you know, because every day in the kingdom is going to be an adventure. You know, the wisdom we're going to be on, man, the new bodies we're going to have, the new functions, and you know, the earth, you know, being turned back to paradise, us having the time to enjoy the earth. You see, no more of this, man. Okay, wait till I pass. Damn Eve. Get up here. Good morning. How y'all doing?
Good, how you?
Good.
I'm looking at.
Well, yeah, let's go back to Matthew 24, and this is what I want to expound on. You know, because man, I say the more we talk about these things, man, the more we should have hope, and excitement, the kingdom to come, and become more dead to this one, man. Because like I say, this one is done. Like the Lord has to have a spirit. The Lord really has to have a spirit on you, on the left hand side for you to still be infatuated with this shit, man. you know, like this is a kingdom of scraps, man. Especially, you're the average, working person, man. All we have access to is scraps. you know, this kingdom. Okay, if you have any expectation of this in this kingdom, it's full of nothing but constant letdowns, man. Constant disappointments. you know. So it's to the point to where, hey, I say, man, we get our daily bread. The Lord bless us with our few wants, man. We got the brotherhood, we got the body. You might have a family that believe that holds you down, but outside of that, man, shit, ain't no expectation in this place, man. you know, this place has reached its end. It's just a waiting game now. you see, it's just a day for day, waiting game. As we watch prophecy. All right, so let's go here to the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 36. Well, I read 35 again. It says, "Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only." Okay, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. Okay, so the Heavenly Father only knows the exact time. The Heavenly Father has that appointed time. For brother, I want to post that in Habakkuk chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. But only the Father knows the exact appointed time, all right, that He's going to put these things in motion, all right, and the exact time that He's going to send Yahweh. You see, only the Heavenly Father, all right, has that exact time. And what Yahweh did, He left us with clues. And not only, Matthew 24, Luke 21, Mark the 13th chapter, where He speaks about, you know, um, the wars, rumors of wars. Well, when you go into, like, as we always go into certain prophecies in Jeremiah, Hosea, Joel, Isaiah, all right, it goes into the specifics, okay? It goes into the specifics of particular things that will be happening, certain alliances, all right, that will be happening, okay? Certain moves that will be made, certain spirits that particular nations will be in, okay? As it talks about the wars and rumors of wars, okay, the pestilence, okay, the love of many, waxing cold. You see, He gave us the circumstances that will be going on. He pretty much the atmosphere of the earth, that will signify His second coming. Okay, so let's get this in Habakkuk, and we can kind of expound, all right, on particular things. Okay, this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 1, and it says, "I will stand." This is the brother beyond Yashala, Shalom Makia. How about Shemal Shabashim Kakadash Brakata? Shalom to all you Akim, Wakim tuning in. This is Habakkuk 2 and 1. It says, "I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what He will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved." So we're standing on our watch, and when you're standing, um, when you're standing okay, on your watch. All right. The advantage of being on the watchtower is that you can see further than everyone else. You know, you had a viewpoint, okay, a vantage point to where you can see beyond. Okay, and that's why the watchman was able to give a warning, all right, because where he stood, you know, he had that viewpoint, he had an advantage, okay, of being able to see further out. And through the Holy Spirit, the prophets, all right, have their viewpoint by understanding this book to where we can see further out, okay? And as we see things approaching, we give warning, okay? This is a real job. When the scriptures say I have made thee watchmen unto the house of Israel, that's a real job, okay? That's a literal job, man. You see, that's a duty, all right? And a watchman, okay, a watchman, his life was different going on, man. When you going to a watchman, his life was different than everyone else. You know, he was kind of a watchman was isolated. Okay, he didn't have the normal, typical, okay, life. All right, his wife wouldn't see him as much. His family wouldn't see him as much because he was occupied. Okay, and his duty, okay, as a watchman would protect, okay, whatever he was watching for, who he was watching for, the city, the village, the town, or whatever, okay. And it says, and will watch to see what we will say unto me, what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved, okay. And it says, and how do we watch and see what the Lord is saying? By watching the prophecy. The Lord speaks to his men by events. When we see certain events happening, oh, lucky. When we see certain events happening, that's the Lord speaking, you know, to his men. All right, that's Yahweh Shema Shai speaking, okay, to his prophets, the watchmen. Okay, verse 2, it says, in the Lord, and Habakkuk 2:2, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it, man. You know, and as we see these things happening, we run to report it. You know, because what in the ancient world, you know, when you send a courier, a messenger, you know, he will run with that message. You know, he would take off with that message. He would get that message, okay, and he would take off from one post to another. You know, that's where you even get that. Going back to Marathon, okay, when you had the battle, Demopolis, between the Greeks and the Persians, and the Greeks had won, and the Persian ships was going towards Athens, okay, but you had this messenger, you know, he wanted to get there. How you doing, sir? He had to get there before those ships got there, because the men of Athens told their women, look, if we lose, y'all go ahead and commit suicide instead of going into captivity under the Persians. So that runner, okay, he had to run back, you know, to Athens before them Persian ships got there, to let the Athens know that the men had won, all right, and that they was coming back to secure, you know, Athens. So those people wouldn't kill themselves. And, you know, so the story that he ran like 26.2 miles, something like that. I think that's the standard of a marathon. You might have to fact check me and see. But I think that's the standard of a marathon, like 26.5 miles, 26.2 miles or whatever. But when he got there, you know, and he fell, and he said victory, you know, when that's where you get, all right, the goddess is, you know, victory, you know, Nike, you know. But when he got there, he said Nikia. That's what he said, which in the Greek is victory. You know, that's where you get that term, Nike. You know, that's what that goes into. All right. But when you when you uh as we got this message, you know, as we see what the Lord is saying to us, you know, we receive the message through these events, you know, as we're watching, and we filter through the scriptures, and then we run, you know, to the internet, okay, with the message, we run with it, you know, we run as we see these things happening. All right, verse 3, it says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it shall surely, all right, uh, it shall surely come, all right, it will not tarry." So it's for an appointed time, you know, and only how the Heavenly Father Himself knows that exact time, okay? But like I said, we have the events of things, all right, that will be happening. Now, I just want to go through like I guess a review, you know, per se, of certain things, you know, that's happening in real time. You know, how you doing, man? Uh, yeah. Goddamn, grandma got her stomach out, goddamn. Shit. Grandma must be on the prowl this summer, goddamn. Well, I'd rather go to Edomite parks, man. You know, everybody be friendly. You know, you go to nigga parks, you can feel that toxic shit. You know, you go to parks with, you know. But back to the real. Uh, so, uh, uh, yeah. So just going into a review of everything that's happening for his prophecy. So, you know, the latest, as we can see, all right, with Russia and Ukraine. Well, I take it back. So we remember, you know, there was a back and forth, you know, between uh, Iran and those small hats. You know, things got pretty intense, and Iran showed those small hats, you know, that they can pretty much touch, you know, any part of Israel when they want it. You know, if they can get through those defense systems, even with the help of EU nations, okay, plus the Iron Dome, David Sling, and all the other bullshit that them small hats got. All right, it didn't work. All right, and uh, uh, Iran showed them that they can get through. So that pretty much made those small hats tone it down, and they just went back to, you know, running through the Gaza Strip, you know, just terrorizing those civilians of Gaza, you know, because they pretty much just want to flatten that place and make it unlivable, okay? And they got different projects that they want to establish, all right, via the Gaza Strip, you know. They want to modernize that areas right there on the Mediterranean Sea, you know. It's a good trade port, you know. It's also, you know, in the strategic location by Egypt, all right, which is by the Red Sea, which goes out, you know, into, you know, the Indian Ocean, you know. So that's pretty much a economical move, you know, that there's, because the small hats want to set themselves up in this new world order. They want to set up in our land, you know. You gotta think the Rothschilds, okay, these elite banking family, they're small hats, okay. So they want to establish a new world order and make Israel their headquarters. So pretty much they want to clear certain areas out and modernize it, okay, and establish, you know, world dominion, you know, from Jerusalem, which was promised to us. So what we see happening between that goes back to Esau wanted to fabricate his own birthright, wanted to establish his own birthright, okay. So we know is that conflict, has kind of, they're still at each other through proxy wars, but they're not directly. That back and forth was a direct back and forth, between, those two, nations, which that conflict is going to lead, to the major war. You know, the the least of the flock shall draw them out. You heard brothers going into that. While they was while that conflict was going on, you heard that precept come out a lot. That prophecy about the least of the flock drawing them out, and that's what's going to happen. You know, it was that conflict is going to drag all these major, okay, uh, uh, is going to draw out all these major militaries into this third world war. You know, and that's what we seeing, play out. Okay, so is that, it flared up and then it kind of simmered down, but it's still in motion. It's just a matter of time for those small hats get impulsive and do something, and it's gonna be at the point of no return. They was almost there. They was right at the doorstep. Okay, it was like, you know, somebody slapped someone, and then they slap them back, and then they stare each other down. you know, it's like they kind of felt each other power, and then they went back to their corners. Okay, so that's that incident. And while that's happening, we know that Russia and Ukraine conflict, where you have Russia, just wiping the floor with Ukraine, and um, these EU nations, because the EU and the West pretty much use Ukraine as a crash dummy. They put a lot of money, okay? They put a lot of weaponry into Ukraine, which has, been destroyed. A lot of money went down the drain because they're not achieving, any of their objectives, dealing with Russia, okay? So when they started that conflict, when they first started that conflict, I think it was like 2.5 years ago, they objective, was to weaken Russia's military and to cause, social unrest, with the Russian people, because they felt that Ukraine could at least put pressure on Russia, all right, to cause Vladimir Putin to fall out of favor, so they can be able to push propaganda and civil unrest amongst Russia. Well, it backfired, okay? It backfired terribly because it's prophecy, okay? Prophecy is undefeated. So they, did what they did in Ukraine with hopes of weakening Russia and weakening the morale of the people, to get them to fold on Vladimir Putin, okay? But it didn't work. In fact, the opposite happened, to where Russia is gaining territory in Ukraine, and the people, all right, Putin just won the election, and he has the highest, approval rating amongst world leaders. Okay, like the whole state of Russia is behind him. Okay, 30,000 men are joining Russia's military a month. Okay, which fulfills, God and Magog being as the sand of the sea. And then you have in Russia, like, you have men, that are considered disabled, okay, over 40, and they're going to the hospital to try to get, removed off being disabled so they can fight in the war. Like, there's a spirit over there that the Lord got on the Russians, okay? If a brother can put that, uh, with the Isaiah 13:17, okay? We're seeing the Lord doing that real time. So you have that. So now where we stand dealing with Russia and Ukraine is that, okay, Russia is like, look, there's certain things, because NATO is helping Ukraine, but it's limited. But see, now as Russia is, on the brink of just completely overthrowing Ukraine, now, because see, Russia don't want to destroy. See, the reason why this war has been going on like it has, because a lot of those Ukrainians are Russians, okay? And Vladimir Putin is like a savior to a lot of those Ukrainians, which are actually Russians. You see, because Ukraine used to be a part of the USSR. And what you got to think of it like this, because you go into the news, it's like you think of Ukraine and Russia. Well, a lot of those Ukrainians are Russians, so they're not trying to destroy Ukraine's infrastructure and particular things. That's why there is limited, you know, is limited strikes and how they're moving. It's a slow paced war, okay, but it's very effective. All right. So just to give you an example of what it is, the USSR broke up in 1991. I want to say it had to collapse. So um, just think about it like this. Let's say if America was broken up. All right, everything from Oklahoma to California, was annexed, and it wasn't America anymore. Well, even though you do that, well, you don't think people in California still gonna, okay, have relatives in Texas, okay, in Alabama, you know, the people that moved to California, like they still are American. They were still Americans. They would just go under a new name. Okay, so that's that relationship. That's that dynamic with Russia and Ukraine. It's not like those are just two, different peoples. Like, nah, a lot of Ukrainians consider themselves Russian. They speak Russian. You know, so that's why Russia is not just pummeling, the state itself. It's very strategic. It's making sure they're striking military targets and killing military personnel. You know, so that's why Russia hasn't just pummeled, Ukraine. Now, when they start dealing with Poland and France, that's when you're gonna see pummeling. Okay, and that's when you're gonna see just Russia just go mayhem. All right, yeah, it's gonna be gloves off. All right, so um, so going back into it, so NATO is helping Ukraine, but NATO is getting desperate, and what they're doing, they're putting weapons in Ukraine and giving them weapons to strike inside of Russia. Okay, so you had a drone strike in Russia, a few days ago. All right, and now that has triggered Putin to start staging weapons all throughout the earth. Okay, you got Putin staging weapons in, he's going to start staging weapons in North Korea. This is, speculations. That's why I call rumors, because rumors are circulate stories. So we know for sure, he has nuclear bombers in Venezuela. Okay, he has nuclear submarines, all right, that made to Cuba a few days ago. Okay, he has there's talks of him positioning, weapons in Mexico, positioning weapons in near I can't never say that, Nicaragua, if I'm saying it right, but that's down in Central America. Belarus, which is right there on the border of Poland, North Korea, all right, and Iran. Okay, so Putin is pretty much mobilizing a lot of weaponry throughout the earth. All right, and it just more preparation, okay, for the destruction of America, the destruction of Babylon. Okay, so they got Putin. All right, he's pretty much, because they speculation. They say he pissed about that. That NATO is allowing Ukraine, to, it's pretty much prompting, provoking Ukraine to strike inside of Russia. So speculating that he pissed about that. And that's why you see Russian military hardware just showing up everywhere throughout the earth. They putting themselves in position, okay, for a heavy retaliation. And what's can happen, all right, is that when that conflict between Iran and those small hats, when you get to the point of no return, Russia already has this weaponry positioned all throughout the earth. Okay, so when this thing spirals out of control, it's gonna spiral out of control. you know, it's gonna spiral out of control. It ain't gonna be no timeouts. Okay, it's just gonna get more. It's gonna keep escalating and escalating all the way until the return of Yahweh Shai. This is where we at with it. All right, so you had that situation, and then there's rumors that Hezbollah, okay, has pretty much started doing operation inside of northern Israel. But you're not gonna hear about that, okay? One thing about it, the West don't report no losses. You see, the West don't report, their so-called victories and dominance, But I had to look more into that. But you have those rumors going around that Hezbollah, which is an Iran proxy, is pretty much doing operations inside of northern Israel, which, it wouldn't be far-fetched because Hezbollah already made, 70,000 Israelis pretty much had to evacuate because of, the constant, strikes of Hezbollah in their region, northern Israel, So that's something else, that's brewing, all right? And it's all leading to the same. There's a lot of things happening, but it's leading to the same outcome, man. All right? The third woe and the return of Yahweh Shai. All right? Now, at the same time, you having that happening with the war, because before this war, all right, can go to the next phase, all right, we know that the MOTB has to be made mandatory. So what we seeing with the latest with this petrodollar, Saudi Arabia dropping the petrodollar, that's a big deal. And when people talk about the collapse of the dollar, what people have to understand, they're talking about the collapse of the global economy. Okay, when the dollar collapse, it's not going to be okay. These other economies still function because everything is pegged to the dollar. Okay, everything operates based on the dollar. Everything is measured based on your currency is measured based on how it converts into the dollar. Okay, so when the dollar collapse, that's the global collapse. All right, and it's gonna be the end of the American party. Okay, like this party in America, this living carelessly, and you see, it's gonna end suddenly, man. Okay, so and these nations joining BRICS. BRICS is not no, anti elite. Okay, the BRICS, okay, is a segue to the digital dollar. Okay, the digital currency. That's why all these nations are jumping on board, because they know that the currencies are about to go digital. Okay, so what we seeing is these nations jumping on board to the digital currency because they know where it's going. All right, so BRICS is not going to be, the new, all right, currency that saves the world from the terrorism of the dollar, because the dollar has been weaponized to keep these nations in debt. Okay, and to give America, just this unprecedented power over the world's economies. Okay, so BRICS is not going to rescue these nations from the dollar. BRICS is going to be a segue to the CBDC, All right, the currency that the elites want to be the global currency in the earth, which is going to be controlled by the MOTB. Okay, and guess who you have, wanting to join the BRICS is Turkey. Okay, which is a NATO nation. Okay, so you have a NATO nation wants to join. All right, anti-NATO. All right, alliance, which that's all prophecy, which the brother got it. Okay, so why the brother? Let's get that. Okay, it's Isaiah. Well, first let's get this. Yeah, Isaiah 13 and 17. But I will stir up the Medes against them, because even the BRICS is led by who? Russia. That's the big dog. Okay, and BRICS is Russia. Okay, and it says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Yeah, because they're doing their own thing. Okay, the demand for the dollar is declining, so that leverage, that America had, by putting sanctions on these nations, through the dollar, they're losing their leverage, and these nations like, say we good, we're gonna do our own thing. All right, you can't sanction us, into into submission anymore, because just as people fear the American military, they feared them sanctions too, man, because them sanctions will destroy your economy. All right, have your people at an uproar, because the people just know that, damn, because the people just see, inflation, they see, hard times, loss of jobs, loss of, they can't provide for their family anymore. See, that's all the people feel. They don't understand that it's the wickedness. All right, they don't understand the full extent of America, wickedness in the situation. Okay, and what do? And Esau, when he put sanctions on you, he sent these agent provocateurs to promote unrest and rebellion. Okay, like this devil is he's very active at being the devil, man. Okay, but now that leverage he had to do that, since the dollar is weakening, he don't have that leverage anymore. Okay, so now these nations are going with their move. Okay, and this is what's happening. This is Ezekiel 38:1. It says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, son of man, set thy face against God, the land of Magog, all right, which is speaking about Russia, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, because prophecy is against Russia too, because Russia is going to lose. Russia doesn't win. Russia is just being used as a tool, and it says, and say, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O God, and chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, even, it says, and I will turn thee and put hooks in thy jaws. And this is what we're seeing. Prophecy has hooks in the jaws of Russia. Okay, and you put hooks in the jaws of a wild beast to get it go into the direction you want it to go. Okay, so there's hooks in this bear, and the Lord is finna bring this bear through Russia, through Europe, going all the way into Jehoshaphat. Okay, well, Yahweh Shai is gonna show up and wipe the floor with everybody and clear the board. Okay, and it says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaw, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, and all of them handling swords, man. And Russia, all right, has a major military industry, man, where they're able to produce more tanks, all right, than NATO and the EU. They're able to produce more ammunition. They're able to produce more missiles. They're able, to produce a lot. Okay, they're able to, manufacture a lot of hardware. They have the most renowned missile defense system in them S series. You heard the S-300s, S-400s, S-500s, and there's rumors that they got all the way up to S-700. We'll find out shortly what they got. you know, I can't wait to see these things in action, man. You know, I'm kind of nerd when it comes to the military hardware and different things. But yeah. So keep reading on, and it says, and it's all prophecy, man. Okay. The reason why these things are happening is unfolding is because it's all prophecy. It says Persia and Ethiopia was Persia going to Iran. Ethiopia, was Ethiopian represents, you know, uh, 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 it said Ethiopia and Libya, which those are African nations, okay? And you look at a lot of these African nations, they're pro-Russian, all right? And they're becoming anti-West, okay? They're beginning to side with Russia economically and militarily. Once you make an economical alliance with someone, okay, there has to be a military alliance to protect both parties' interests, okay? And it says Gomar and all his bands, even Togomar, which is Turkey, okay, and Turkey is joining BRICS, okay. they're leaving their alliance with NATO to join BRICS, and it says Gomar and all his bands in the house of Togomar, or the North Quarters, and all his bands and many people with thee, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Okay, and this is what we're seeing. Okay, hey, Russia is all throughout the earth, man, and all these nations hate America. They hate the West. I got another video to kind of go into it. Lord will, I got posted tomorrow. All right, these nations hate the West, and they're ready to see America get their ass kicked, man. Okay, and this is where we at. You see, so you have the MOTB. All right, this petrodollar, is a major move. All right, and a step closer to the MOTB, because it's a step closer to the collapse of the dollar, which is the collapse of the global economy. Okay, and they want to revamp their global economy with a central bank digital currency. Okay, which is going to be controlled, okay, by the chip. All right, the MOTB. Okay. And then, all these moves for war, all the pieces are being put in place for major war to erupt. Okay? And these nations go with it. All right? So that's the point. Just want to go into that, man. I thought it'd be good to kind of walk and talk about some things, just to kind of sum up where we at. Lord will, it was informative and edifying. I try to, make it concise, and to the point, but it's be a lot, so you have to go on a kind of a rant, kind of explain these things. But, Lord would, it tied all together, it made sense, So with that, give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushua, by Hashem, Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great example to our younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.